Good morning, everybody. It's Rita Smith, the #1 food fairy, and oh my gosh, it's that time of year. It's the ribs time of year. I am going to take you today through the steps that I use to barbecue ribs. You can do it all in one day and cook them, eat them today, or you could marinate them in the fridge for tomorrow. What I do is I get to the pre-cooked marinating step and then I freeze them as pre-cooked ribs, which I put on the barbecue later and slather them with sauce so they're all hot and gooey and crispy on that day. But on that day, especially if a lot of company is coming, the last thing you want to be doing is hanging around the barbecue for hours and hours and hours waiting for ribs to be done. So what I have here are some fantastic pork loin back ribs from Foodland. They're on today for $3.99 a pound, $3.99 a pound. I bought 30 pounds. I'm going to pre-cook a ton because I'm going to have a lot of company this summer, and half of the work or 2/3 of the work will be done before they even get here. So I have got a beautiful, beautiful pile of pork loin back ribs at $3.99 a pound, super cheap. I'm going to pre-cook these ribs in an Aqua Negra marinade. My Aqua Negra marinade recipe comes from Chevy and Rio Bravo's Fresh Mex cookbook. It is online. The recipe is online. If you just Google Aqua Negra marinade, Chevy's is the first one that comes up. It calls for pineapple juice, soy sauce, lime, and cumin, and garlic. I don't have garlic here, but you can rest assured there will be garlic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the marinade. I'm going to rinse all the meat in my sink, make the marinade, and I'm going to roll out the full ribs in a giant roasting pan, cover them in the marinade. If I was going to cook them today, fresh on the barbecue for company, I would just refrigerate them in marinade. But in fact, what I'm going to do is pre-cook them. So I'm just going to pour the marinade on and put them in the oven at a low temperature and let them cook for a couple of hours. And then we'll come back and check how that goes. So we're going to have ribs either marinated or pre-cooked in an Aqua Negra marinade, which is a soy sauce and pineapple base, has fantastic flavoring agents and fantastic tenderizing agents so that when you actually cook the ribs, they fall apart. They just fall off of the bone. Fantastic. So I'll come back in a moment and show you how to make the Aqua Negra marinade. So I guess step 1 was rinsing the ribs. I've done that. They're in the sink. Step 2 is the Aqua Negra marinade. I tripled the recipe that you'll find in Chevy's and Rio Bravo, so it's going to look huge, but if you're making it just for like one little package of ribs, it's like a cup of sauce. I'm going for the bulk here. So I've got 6 cups of pineapple juice, canned pineapple juice. That's tripling the recipe. I've got 3 cups of soy sauce. I'm using low sodium, just as a matter of course I try to, but you could use any kind. Okay, I've got a cup of lime juice. You can use fresh limes if you have the time and the patience to squeeze fresh limes. You know, good on you, God bless you. I actually cheat most of the time and use Cecilia lime juice. That's just bottled. It was 2 containers of this, made a cup. So a cup of lime juice. You can see there's lots of acid here that's going to tenderize the meat between the pineapple juice and the lime juice. And now the recipe calls for, I think, 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. I add a bit more than that, and I've tripled it, so I've probably got about 1/2 cup of cumin here, but that's okay. Everybody in my family loves the flavor of cumin. And then, again, they called for about 1.5 teaspoons of garlic. I use more garlic than that because everybody in my family really loves garlic. So the garlic and the cumin are in the lime juice, the pineapple juice, and the soy sauce. That's about all that takes. I'll get that in a second. And that's when I come back, I'll show you how I lay the ribs and pour the sauce over them for baking. Okay, I was able to get about 2/3 of my 30 pounds of ribs, so let's say 20 pounds of ribs, maybe just a little bit less, into my giant Cuisinart roaster. I'm going to pour the Aqua Negra seasoning, marinade, sauce, whatever you want to call it. It's marinade if you put it in the fridge. Oops, geez, I'm going to put this straight into the oven. And I even reuse some of this marinade on other meat later if there's some left over. I skim the fat off and don't let it go to waste. But, okay, so I am gonna, oh, that didn't even take the whole container of marinade. That's pretty good. I'm gonna put this giant roasting pan of ribs in the oven at 250 degrees, and I'm gonna let it sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe. I'll check them. I don't want the meat to overcook. I just want it to pre-cook so that when I put it on the barbecue, I'm completely confident. The pork is already all the way cooked through. It's not gonna make anybody sick. There's no uncooked portions of the meat, but it's been extremely tenderized and flavorized by the Aqua Negra marinade. The cumin and the garlic have such a great flavor. And then when I take them out rack at a time to put them on the barbecue, all they have to do is get crispy and hot and gooey and more tender, and away we go. So I am going to put the lid on this. Oh, that's going to be complicated. The lid's full of crap. I'm going to put the lid on this and put it in the oven at 250, a low temperature. I'm going to say for a couple of hours, and then I'll check it. Okay, actually got the lid and I emptied out everything I was storing inside of it. So this is going to go into the oven. Okay, so the ribs have been in the oven at 250 for quite a few hours. I would say more than 3. Less than 4, but more than 3. And they're looking really nicely, exactly as I would wish they would be. I'm going to lay them flat, wrap them in plastic, and I'm going to call these pre-cooked. I'll show you what I do with the liquid after, but the ribs themselves are now ready to be wrapped up and frozen, and when I put them on the barbecue and slather them in sauce, all they have to be is crisped and sauced on the barbecue. I don't have to worry about cooking them to the bone. They're already cooked to the bone, so they'll be awesome. I also have a big pot out on the barbecue. I'll see how those are doing as well. So here are 6 packages of ribs pre-cooked in the oven in soy sauce and pineapple juice, garlic, cumin, and lime. And these are now going to go in the freezer. You could cook them right away if you wanted to. You could cook them right now. You could put in the fridge to cook for tomorrow. I'm going to freeze these till company comes at the end of July, my pre-cooked ribs. And when I take them out and thaw them and put them on the barbecue and slather them with sauce, they will become crispy, they're tender, they'll become gooey with the barbecue sauce, and that will be just outstanding. So there you go. That's a big chunk of the work is done today, and then when I unwrap them to crisp them for company, it's only a few minutes of effort. Okay, so I have a small piece of rib, about a third of a whole rack of ribs on the barbecue right now. I'm going to have that for my dinner tonight. It has been slathered with Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, and I'm going to let it crisp up and get all hot and gooey and crispy on the barbecue while I do some other things. I won't go too far though, because it'll burn pretty quickly. The ribs are pre-cooked. They're cooked all the way to the bone in the oven at 250 degrees in a marinade of soy sauce and pineapple juice. So they're very tender and very flavorful and safely cooked. Now I just need to do the matter of the crisping and making them hot and gooey and tender for company to eat. That is looking good. It's looking Weber good. I think Eric Goodwin would be proud of me. I'm going to let it go a couple of more minutes, and then we're going to eat those ribs, and they're going to be delicious. So here we are with our finished ribs. They've been pre-cooked in soy sauce and pineapple juice. They have been barbecued on a hot barbecue with Sweet Baby Ray's sauce. They're going to be delicious. I have no question about that. And here we go. So we're going to eat these on the 26th of July. I'll be serving these to, I don't know, 20 or 30 people. It's going to be a big family party, and we are all going to eat ribs. I do actually really recommend pre-cooking. It makes everything easier. You don't have to worry that somebody's going to get, half-cooked pork. They're tender. They're tasty. They're delicious, and they're really easy to serve up to company. So it's Rita Smith, the #1 food fairy, saying have fun in the kitchen, have fun at the barbecue, be confident while you're cooking, and have a great time feeding your family.
I'm so sick of reality TV. I'm so tired of my girlfriend ignoring me. I sure could use a little bit of company, some time away from all the wannabe celebrities, 'cause I wanna get